Hi everyone, welcome back to another Swans cast match preview, joined this time by Lee. So welcome back, Lee.
Hello.
We haven't got an opposition fan on today. Maybe understandable considering who the opponents are. I did try, but didn't get a reply. But yeah, so Swansea against Cardiff, the big game on Sunday. So we're recording this on Friday evening. So Sunday, 12 o'clock, is it? Or half 12? 12?
12, yeah, kick
I
off.
thought it was 12. Big one. I mean, it's not as big as it was last year because we've already got over that bridge now. The Doob, where no one can ever do it for the first time ever again because we're in the books, the history books. So
Yeah,
it's but obviously it'd be nice as ever to get a win and to carry on the good run of form we have got against them, and the good run of form that we're showing currently in the league as well. So we'll get stuck into some bits and bobs. It won't be too long of a video, but of course we'll preview the match as normal. Starting off with the Swans then. A bit different to normal. Obviously, usually I would ask the opposition person, whoever's on with us, a bit about the other team, but they're not here to do that. So we'll have to go a different route today. But we'll talk about the team, or Swans, if you like. Obviously, there was the concern after the Burnley game. We had a good run of form. We had 4 wins in a row. It was 5 wins in 6 games. And then we got thumped 4-0 by Burnley. But we managed to bounce back. How important do you think it was that we bounced back at home against Reading?
Oh, it's massive because when we lost 4-0 and Pro had a red card, and then we were 2-0 down early on against Reading, you're like, oh, the tide has proper turned back the other way now. You're thinking, you've got the derby coming Sunday, and we've just sort of dropped in form. So to turn that around was massive because it just changes the feeling going into the game now, doesn't it? That we've got a bit of, we've come back from 2-0 down.
Yeah.
You just got that bit of fight in you, so there's a bit more energy going into it now. A little bit less worried after that, but yeah, it was massive to turn that around.
Yeah. And I mean, a little bit about the game then. 2-0 down. I think it was up against the run of play a little bit, but do you reckon so, or do you think we made it ourselves?
I think it's something that we've saw early on in the season, which is why I thought definitely that it was sort of going back the other way. Was just you've got to be careful what you say about like dominating a game, but controlling possession, we should say, looking sharp, and then they just seem to score 2 goals out of nowhere. One of them a mistake from us, and you just think, oh, how is this happening again? Conceding goals, but they were definitely against the run of play for me, and then just to come back when they've camped in
straight after the potential penalty incident that we could have had a penalty for.
Which was definitely a pen.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. It was a good comeback, and I think the bounce you get perhaps of coming from a 2-0 to win the 3-2, even if it is at home, you're going to be riding a wave of good sort of momentum there. So let's hope we can take that forward, I guess. I think the result was fair by the end, and we did well to come back into it. But maybe sometimes we do take our foot off the gas a little bit then when we go 3-2 up. And well, I mean, it was all right because he saw it out and he made the subs to see it out. I did find the sub a bit weird where he brought on Oko Flex at half time and then subbed him.
It was a bit. It's a different game though, isn't it? When you're 2-0 down or 2-1 down, we were at the time, and he knows that Reading had just basically camped in 11 men behind the ball. Then Oko Flex is the sub that you bring on, but then when you're defending a 3-2 lead later on, then you probably wouldn't bring Oko Flex on. So I'd be annoyed if I was Oko Flex, but I'll give credit to Martin on that because I think he got everything spot on, like the tactics, the subs. I think everything was perfect.
Maybe it's easier to do something like that when you got 5 subs as well, which you got these days.
Yeah.
Obviously, he did end up subbing all of the front players anyway. Yeah. So none of them stayed on. You had fresh legs to run around. I thought maybe he would have subbed Latabodia because obviously it was Finlay Stevens that came on for Oko Flex. Latabodia was on a yellow card. So I thought maybe he would have done that just to protect any potential reds. But yeah, I mean, it worked in the end, so you can't criticise. Maybe if it was the other way around, it would have been questions asked. I just thought the pace as well, like if we did have a break, which we did have one with Obafemi, didn't we? But it would have been good to have his pace there. But it worked in the end, so we can't complain. Bender at the end was a bit interesting.
Well, the one where he comes flying out.
I was talking to the Reading guys I did the preview with, and he said, because he went down to the game, from their view, they were like, definitely a penalty. Obviously, watching it back, they realised it wasn't. But
No,
it's
yeah,
one of
I
them
was
where
gonna
I
say.
guess your emotions high. I think was that in front of the away fans?
Yeah, it was down that end. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, nah, he made a good. I was scared, like nervous when he made the decision to come out, but he done well. To be fair, in the end, I think
Oh yeah.
it was Norton's header that put him in that position in the first place. He missed the header, didn't he?
Yeah.
But we'll come on team selection in a minute now. But fair play, got back and made a good save after it as well. So it's key going into Cardiff game. He's in some good form.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at the team then. So without going too much detail on Reading, because I'll be for the podcast, but where do you go then? What do you do with the team compared to what started against Reading? Obviously, Perot still not available. Joe Allen's been confirmed that he won't be available and might even be missing some of the World Cup. But again, we'll talk about that perhaps more in the next podcast. However, there's some positive news in that we might get one of Ryan Manning or Jamie Patterson back without saying which one. He said he might get one of them back. I hope personally it's Manning.
Yeah.
As much as Patterson had a couple of goals in this fixture last year, just the wing back situation for me, we need Manning.
Yeah,
I would be really happy if he can get back in time. But would you make any changes to the team?
Like you said, I'd definitely bring Manning back in if he's fit. He's been class this season, and we definitely miss him because I still don't really understand why he forces Latibodiere onto wing back.
We signed the wing back in Finlay Stevens, and it's still happening. So
I mean, he does all right, and it's still not a knock on Latibodiere. It's still not me slating him because he does a good job.
Right, it's
just somebody playing out of position still. I don't understand, especially when you've, like you said, we've signed a right back.
Yeah, but a good team gets on top of that and identifies it as a weakness, which again is non Latibodiere's fault, but Burnley showed that that's somewhere you can exploit.
Oh, you'd be targeting it all day, wouldn't you? I think, and it's not just that. You can see that our game is different because obviously he doesn't get forward as well as Manning and Sorinola do. Understandably, you're asking a centre back to sort of put in good crosses and create things. It's just not going to happen. So your whole game changes. So if Manning is fit, he has to play, and Sorinola has to go back to the right. Just in any game, never mind a big game. Apart from that, I don't really see much change, to be honest. I think Grimes and Fulton in the middle has to stay. Ollie Cooper has to start. Who started as well behind? Oh, it was Cundle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cundle. Yeah, I don't know.
Cundle for the flair.
Yeah.
We did have a bad game. And I don't know if I trust Jam.
I know that's the problem, isn't it? I don't know who else you play.
I just don't know if I trust him to start this one.
It would have been perfect if Joe Allen was fit because he would have pushed.
From
no,
like you just don't want that. It's a bit of a risk.
It depends which way he's going to go.
But, it's just
you don't know which way it's going to go with him because if you could start him and he could be an absolute, world beater and win the game for you, but then he could go the other way where he just sort of trots around and does nothing.
I
don't know.
have a controversial maybe changed in the back. So Harry Garland, as much as he maybe could have been stronger for the goal, you could equally put blame on the ref, I guess. Like, depends what way you want to view that incident against Reading. He did have a good game overall, and he did score as well, and he's got that in him. Like, considering he's probably out of the 4 defenders, he's scored more goals than him. He's played less. He's got a goal in him. Yeah, 3 goals I think he's on now this season.
Yeah.
1 less than Joel Perot, and 1 more than Obafemi.
Yeah.
So I feel like potentially if Manning is not back, this is now. Maybe can you play Kyle Norton on the wing back?
I don't know. I don't think he can play there anymore.
I think he's done all right when he's covered on the left. I mean,
I think he's done all right when he's covered.
I'd rather Kyle Norton there than Latibodiere because this is natural position. Even if he's even if he's older, it's still his first primary position. Whereas Latibodiere's changing what he needs to do to be there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Norton's good to cover in there. Like if the game the game sort of changes like 65 minutes. You've got to just make a change, put him there. He does the job, but I think like from the outset, he's definitely a target because I think with his sort of his pace has gone a little bit.
Well, Latipody's not exactly quick, is he?
No, I know, but he's probably got a bit more of an engine on him now than Kyle Norton has, isn't he? I just think he's got the potential to be caught out. I think at like the Brewster one, and there was one against.
The wing back is he's not necessarily the last man.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose I don't know.
You want the experienced head in rather than dropping like Darlin to fit him in. I'd rather drop Latipody on the right wing back, put him there. I think he can still do a job. And one of the things, the criticisms I have of both Sorinola and Latipody when they're playing right wing back specifically seems to be they're never out there to block across. They never get. They're always in next to the centre back, and then the ball gets played wide, and they've got to run towards their man. I don't know why that gap is always so tight between the right wing back and the centre back in defence, and then they always never get there. They never get to block the cross, and quite often there's an opportunity as a result of it. It happened to West Brom when we went up loads, and I think Burnley's first 2 goals both came from that Latipody side.
Yeah,
and Reddit's.
I think noticeably though, like Sorinola seems to always be out of position.
Yeah,
like you said, but I think he just always seems to be in the wrong place when the ball's coming down his side. That's one criticism I've had against him all season. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying about Norton though, just to have a bit of a level head. I don't know. I just don't think you don't make that big of a change when he hasn't played there sort of all season. For a big game, and also
him and he, like wherever he puts him, he trusts him.
Yeah, but when you play like wing back as well, it's a lot of you need a massive engine on you, like like Connor Roberts used to have, and like Manning has now. You're basically playing left back and left wing.
I'm not going to suggest this one, but what about Grimes goes left back?
Yeah, like the old days.
You've got no one to cover his role. I'm joking. I wouldn't want that to happen. Okay, the only other thing then is Patterson is the one that comes back instead. I think for me, he goes straight on the bench.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Maybe he can come on second half and do something, but I don't think we can throw him straight. He's been out too long anyway. I wouldn't want to put him in based on form, but I just if he's not played enough, he can't start. Okay, looking at Cardiff. Go on.
No, the only one I was going to say was we'd gone back to Norton. I'm really struggling who we play in the centre of the 3 at the moment. I don't know if you put Norton back in for experience in the middle 3 because obviously he's played there and in both derbies last year. But I don't know. I think like Darlin is obviously the long-term replacement for Norton in that position. But I think they've both got like a big mistake in them at the moment. Whereas before you probably wouldn't have said that about Norton, but now I think the last couple of games.
I think he's been getting
I think he is tired. It depends what sort of state he's in. If he's had a rest and he's fit, I'd probably give him the nod over Darlin.
I still looked tired when he came on midweek though, didn't he? So
but maybe like Darlin with his goal threat as well. So that's the
that's why I'm thinking
take the one on the edge.
Centre of the back 3 is where the mistake's going to be most costly. That's why I was thinking right back. And if you haven't got the engine, you have 5 subs, you can change in the second half. But just to keep a settled start of the game, and but I mean, at the same time, I don't know how wide Cardiff are playing based on their current formations. They've got 5 in the back system as well.
I think it's quite similar.
They have a lot of new players in the summer. I don't know a lot about all of them. They might have Callum O'Dowda playing right wing back from a Bristol City. For them, but he'd be up against Sorinola, I guess, or Manning. Callum Robson's the one, isn't he? I guess that you'd look out for Shinji Ojo up top. But so a lot of people on our TikTok comparing Obafemi and Robson, and all the Cardiff fans are saying Robson's the better Irish player. Don't know what I make of that.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I'm not. I can't say confidently because I'm not too convinced about Obafemi at the moment either. But...
No, I mean they both got 2 goals this season. So.
Yeah, I know. It's like the Spider-Man thing, isn't it? It's like pointing at each other.
Yeah, but Callum Robson, he did it. He did a good season in the Championship. I think he got signed for like West Brom or something. Then didn't he?
Yeah. He
just didn't do anything in the Premier League. Yeah. So Cardiff signed him on a free or got him in loan or something like that. I think, which is
I can't remember if it was loan. No. Yeah, good signing I thought for them. The Championship team, it's good signing.
He hasn't hit the ground running though, but I guess they haven't really been scoring an awful lot of goals.
Their goals quite spread as well. Like The same with
Like
us, I
ours,
guess.
yeah.
There's a lot of goals just spread around the team at the moment.
To
both
be
sides.
fair, they've scored 12 goals, conceded 17. We have scored 20 and conceded 22. So I
We
didn't
scored
realise
20
we were
goals.
that high up in the goal scoring charts, but we
Mm.
are in the top 9, I think, for goals scored.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that.
Joint with 4 teams, so you could say top 6.
Yeah. I guess we did score 3 on Tuesday as well. That was, and 3
Yeah.
against West Brom. Yeah,
We've
3
just
against West Brom.
conceded too many,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shinji Ojo is I think he's got a bit of pace that perhaps we need to be careful of.
Yeah, I think so. That's the main threat, I think. That's what I mean. They'll be sniffing at that, depending on like Darling and Norton, like getting behind. That's the big threat, I think.
Yeah, the Reading guy picked up on our high line, just a ball over the top being lethal against us, and not something that we've really spoken about before, but obviously Martin wants to get everyone there to be an option for the pass, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think it's a criticism of Liverpool a little bit as well with the high line, isn't it? But I guess the problem is if you've got the high line, you need to be able to recover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the ball gets played
can.
over the top and someone's onside, you've got to have the pace to fix it, haven't you? But
Yeah.
I'm not sure we do it back.
But I'm looking at their team, like if the team's similar to what started the last game where they lost 3-0 against QPR, it won't be exactly the same because Jack Simpson centre back got sent off.
I think it's been rescinded now.
It has.
It was never a red card, mind. I've seen it. It was no chance.
Did that ruin the game for them? They already 1-0.
Yeah, it was. No, I think it was 1-0 because they gave a penalty and sent him off.
Ah, okay.
But I thought you couldn't do that anymore. I thought
one or the other.
I'm not sure what's happened. I thought it was one or the other, but they sent him off, and it was never a foul.
It depends what it is, though, does it? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't anything. It was just like the strikers running in.
What's handball? What's
Yeah, they just change it all the time.
Offside? Depends. Like the ref just fancies something and goes with it.
It seems like we both had terrible penalty calls again. Classic for the Welsh sides because, in all fairness, there's just 2 players running side by side with the striker in the middle.
Yeah,
and he barely touches him. Like he's just sort of shoulder to shoulder.
So it's
doesn't
like
even sort of make a tackle.
red card's a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
Fair enough. Hopefully the morale dropped because of the. But anyway, okay, he's back then. Obviously, Pro isn't back, but just what I'm trying to say is the team that started. If it's a similar team, there's like no one there really that played for them against us last year. Maybe Ojo Avi was on loan before, wasn't he? And Perry NG, who's playing centre back now, not wing back. Otherwise, it's pretty new. Like they would have had the Derby experience before, really. Curtis Nelson on the bench, Joe Rouse was on the bench, and Mark Harris, I think, was been around before. I don't know about Wintle. Was he new this year? Has he been there a while?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. They had such a massive turnover in the summer. I lost control.
Just wondering, is that a good thing or a negative thing going into a big match like this?
I think
players in their squad that are new, and what impact that might have in them understanding the importance of the game.
I think in terms of from Cardiff's point of view, I think it's a good thing because like what happened last year, I think just not having that going into this year, they needed a fresh start, and I think you'll have to try and drum into them how important the game is if a lot of them haven't played in the Derby before. But I think you needed a fresh start after what happened last year. Yeah, well, Mark Hudson, he's played in the Derby as well, so he obviously knows what it's all about.
I wonder if this would be the make or break deal for him getting the job full time.
Well, yeah, could be. It's usually the making or breaking of when they sack the manager. They usually get sacked after the Derby, but it could be.
Okay, so what are you going to say then? It's going to be neck on the line.
Yeah, I have to apologise to Swans fans because I think it's going to be a bad day. I think, but I'm not very confident in
You're
most
just saying
games.
that so that when if we win, you'll be like, oh well, I'm glad to be wrong. And then
but obviously I'll be glad to be wrong. Obviously, I want us to win. But I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking we've been so spoiled for the last.
We do a bad one against.
Well, that's what we are due a bad game.
I was saying that in work. I was like, are we? Because area manager's a Cardiff fan. He came in today
Yeah.
without giving any detail. I was just like, all right, big game on the weekend. And he's not confident. He reckons that they're going to get smashed. Like, he's just like, oh, yeah, you're going to be easy. I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, we had a really good run against you guys, and it's going to turn at some point. It's like one of them where perhaps it's not expected, and that's when it happens.
Yeah, you think coming off the double last year, everyone's thinking, oh, we're going to they've had a big turnover. We're going to just wipe the floor.
What I will say is, it's a good opportunity for Russell Martin to like proper sharp any doubters.
Massively.
Like I wrote a little bit of comments for Gabriel's son.
Yeah.
I did write. It's not clickbait. It's a good, obviously, selling point with.
I saw it.
The word I did use those words, right? But it looks like I'm going in on Russell Martin.
Yeah,
it's like borderline. I was like, I did say it. So if you read it, you'll see the context. Basically, if you read the article, so the highlight on what it is it says what my quote is: the jury is still out on Russell Martin. But I think the question was like, how are all the Swans fans feeling about him, and what's the vibe been? Because it was different a couple of weeks ago when we were down the bottom. So I was explaining the situation where, like, yeah, we've had a good run recently, and a lot of people are happy with that, but there is some that are still not convinced. Like, you saw that after we lost to Burnley, basically. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I said those words. But it's such a good quote to pick for, like, to get
the headline.
I understand why it's there. I'm not frustrated with it. I just thought it was funny when I saw it. I was like, oh, of course, that's the one that gets pulled out. Makes it look like I've gone in on him, but I haven't. So just wanted to put the context there.
You are right. You are right, though. I think if he like rubber stamps winning the game twice last year, when doing the double, and then having a good win again here in the first one, I think he wins over a lot of people again.
On top of the form we've had, and then winning another one of these big games, it's just like, okay, maybe we are actually challenging for some in this season.
Yeah, but this is what
can't knock our form. If we keep winning, then it's,
no.
It's I think losses in the last 8 games, I think.
Yeah, and we've been class in the last couple of weeks, but minus the Burnley game. But this is what I'm saying. I think it'd be massive for them to do it again. I will be gutted if we don't win this game, because I think on paper, I think we should be winning the game. I think our form
transition season, that's even more. Like,
our form has been good.
Players have changed. It's more transition than what we had last year. I was just playing style, but they've got a new team.
Yeah, our form has been brilliant over the last couple of weeks. You think if we play like we have been at home, we should win the game. But I just think with the derby, sometimes it's who wants it more, and I think that's why there was never a double, because whoever won the first game, the second game, the team just wanted it more. Like, couldn't have that happen.
Our home form is good. In the last 5 games, it's 4 wins and a 1-0 defeat to Sheffield United.
Yeah, which we shouldn't have lost. I just think with them coming down this year on the back of the double, I think they'd be like, we can't have a heavy defeat. Cardiff fans are begging for them to just turn up in a derby, because they haven't played well really for years against us, and I think they're really frustrated. I think it's going to be a different animal coming down this year.
Well, we will see. Time will tell. Obviously, Sunday 12 o'clock. Going to the pub.
I
was going to get tickets, but I decided to go with the lads to the pub instead, because
I'll be there.
Have a few drinks. It was either 2 of us go to the game, or there's a couple of us going to the pub. So I was like, I had them in my basket, and I was like, I'll go to the pub. Just to save a bit of money, spend it on the booze instead. But I don't mind. You get a good atmosphere anyway, and you get a good view. So
I'll be there. Panicking again. It's not an enjoyable game to watch, is it really? Unless you're like last year when we were like 3-0 up and enjoying life. But
early 2 goals.
First 20 minutes is awful to watch. Yeah, that's what I was saying though about us. This is why I say we'd do a bad game, because I feel like we've been so spoilt. I was thinking I was going to the game, and you feel it as soon as you walk in the stadium. You can feel that atmosphere, that like edge straight away. As you can tell it's a different game. I was thinking the last time I actually saw us lose in person against Cardiff was the Colca one, I think, or the Bellamy one. Well, the Bellamy one. The Bellamy one was the last time. Well, I know we had lost in COVID, didn't we? And we won up there in COVID. But I don't really. I can't say I don't count them, but it didn't feel the same because obviously you're not in the ground, no one's in the ground. We beat each other home and away, so I kind of net that one off. So the last time like I was in the stadium at home when they beat us was the Bellamy one, which was 2011. It's like 11 years ago where they've beaten us at our stadium, and you got that feeling of like, oh shit, we lost the derby. So I just think we've had so much fun.
It's been good. Yeah, the Bellamy one I was meant to go, but I ended up going to Disneyland Paris.
What a nightmare.
The day before,
Well, actually not.
last
That's probably, in hindsight, probably a good one to miss.
No, it was on the day. We left on the same day, so the game was happening while I was on the ferry. And it was fine because I didn't have to worry about losing then. I was like, oh, it's okay about football now.
Yeah.
just gonna forget about it. Anyway, call it a day there. So cheers for joining me, Lee. Obviously, there's been a quick preview, but a new podcast should be up. Maybe next week we're going to have a chat with the Seattle Sports Union again. So it's our third time ahead of Wales versus USA, which is coming up soon. So I thought it'd be a good time to check in with them again. So that'll be our next podcast. And then we'll go back to the normal stuff. I guess we'll have a reaction to this at some point. We'll try to squeeze in. Maybe.
Yeah.
See how it goes. But yeah, thanks for joining me again. As always, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like on the video, helps us grow, and give us your predictions in the comments. And we shall see you in the next one.
See you soon.
Try.